It is my pleasure to introduce you to Cruiser Chaos. We've set the stage, and Sandhawk stands ready. And now, it must be knocked down. The covert deliveries of heavy weaponry are not just for flash and flare. They are your new tools of survival. Each one finely tuned for maximum destruction. Likely more than you expect. This battleground, once familiar, will evolve into a more ruthless, more cunning, and, dare I say, more destructive arena. Let us begin. Now, we watch to see who will stand atop the rumble.
Momentum from the Circuit Series not to be stopped. A phenomenal showing coming up from the Freaks, as this has just been an overall stellar performance coming up from them. And I would say not necessarily one of the squads that we had in talks to potentially win this whenever we were coming in, but definitely now that we've gotten into the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, everybody behind the scenes now is just like, the Freaks are a team to watch. The Freaks are a team to watch. And you can see why when they're playing games like this with that expert late game control that they have shown, not just in the Circuit Series, but now here in the finals as well. They are a force to be reckoned with for sure. So a big win for Korea. I mean, now you've got T1 who's playing out of their minds. They're just taking great fights, being so aggressive as well. So all of a sudden the PWS is stepping up.
There is a lot to look at inside of that last game. We saw really good performances also coming up from Na'Vi. I mean, it was a no man's land in that end section. So really it was just making the best of a bad situation, and so many of the teams realized the secret for success that their squads needed to exploit on. But defense was so hard because we had multiple pinches onto compounds so early in that.
Yeah, no, it was one of those more difficult circles on Rondo where it's pretty flat in the middle of it. So a lot of those edge positions, those little hills you're going to find, those extra tree or rock or something like that to give yourself the hope to get into that late game are so, so important. And, you know, the Falcons did a good job holding on as long as they could on one of the worst sides of the circle that was left between the compounds that BP and the Freaks had.
And it's time for our first Erangel PGC Grand Finals. Can you find your keys to success? Because now we are on the oldest of old school maps for PUBG.
Absolutely. This is the original And we'll see which teams can find some more success today. It's still very, very close towards the top of that leaderboard. Nobody's running away with anything today. It's been a lot of different teams stepping up. I know, me too.
I love it.
Oh, me too, dude. It's been just a really good day for PUBG so far. But this playing path, not so good.
True.
For anybody who wants to go to the eastern side of the map.
Hard day to be Na'Vi, so we'll have to see how they opt into going for a secondary or maybe even a tertiary position. Even that, T1 also could probably do a stretch over to Yasnaya, but Stalber is going to be probably pretty interesting to see how many teams we might see make a committal into it. Noticing the fact that we have not seen too many of our teams that might go for different angles just yet. Instead, they're just going to go ahead and commit in. We do have Day Trade that is going to go over down to Morris. So yep, 4 Angry Men, BB. Looks like that 4 Angry Men might have a bit of a better pathing option. So BB, they're going to be shifting away.
So we've seen this from Na'Vi in other bad plane paths where they can't get to Milk to Power, that they will just kind of go towards the northern coast of the map. So that's what they're going to do in the Kameshki vicinity. T1's going to be the closest team. BB dealing with some 4 AM players trying to drop past them towards the military base proper. And we'll see if they opt to continue that harassment. My suspicion is no.
Whew.
They're just going to go look for some loot. And yeah, that circle very north. And certainly Na'Vi, VP, T1, potentially Kwangdong Freaks as well. Going to have some really good opportunity for some prio locations here. Kind of expect these to maybe end somewhere near Severny, but maybe we'll get lucky. I mean, hardships have been the name of this event. Stalber in play.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Stalber in play. We've got Yasnaya. We have the shooting range hillside. Tons of great spots. I mean, I really even enjoy in competitive whenever we get the Badlands that are just to the west of Stalber. You know, just those couple of like warehouses, and there's a lot of interesting pushes that can happen out of there. And it just feels like, I mean, that's like the PUBG that I remember is all like the end games up there. Like there's so much like emotion tied into a lot of the positions that we can see inside of Erangel. So we'll have to see how the teams navigate it and where the circle is going to be taking us.
And it's going to be VP's Beamy who reaches out really early for one of these prio compounds for the warehouse. He wants to lock this down for his squad, have this available as a potential split option. The crossroads as well. And the shooting range is going to be where VP is currently fanned out. So they could, again, have some good early game position, able to lock it down pretty well previously. But Flash, pretty close to Luna. Vinny seems somewhat keen.
Does he want it? I mean, there's the potential knock, but I don't know. Looks like he might just go ahead and let them drive off, take a couple of shots. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Gets a good one off the start. Looks like that might be it. It's going to be a bit of a reveal towards the end, but nope. Instead, it is going to be Luna Galaxy capable of regrouping, even though it got dicey there for a second.
That's still mega scary.
Yeah.
That one shot, and you're like, oh no, certainly not like this. Not like this, but Luna.
Oh. Do a kickflip.
Why not? And they're putting up a super early emergency pickup. So there's a ton of space actually open on the eastern edge of the circle for Luna to potentially utilize. So I kind of like this. This is the previous game where Posa roasted T1.
Dude.
Just crazy good stuff. The grenade is really nice, and then Posa steps up. You see Haven bigging up his teammates there.
I mean, yeah, that squad's got some energy to them. If you haven't interacted with them, all of them are just ridiculously nice guys, but they get really excited when they play.
Oh, they're a great team to watch because of the energy that they bring.
And the first team from Brazil to ever qualify for a PGC.
For the finals?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They were really stoked on it.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. There's been so many good players from Brazil. It's hard for me. It's just hard for me to imagine.
There's actually a lot of Brazilian love in this event, if you count in Sparking as well. So
yeah,
we've been seeing a big rise coming up from Latin America.
Yeah, dude, I'm very happy that Luna's here. A great team, play with a pretty unique edge style compared to some of the others. They were so opportunistic in the beginning of the event, and after that, you know, they really just couldn't quite find enough gas to make it clean coming into the grand finals. They got through, I think, 4 points ahead of Gen G to find their way through, and they did go for that emergency pickup. But let's listen to Phil first, see what BB team has to say about their win.
Hi guys, I'm standing with BB Team's Phil First and our wonderful translator Vlada. Nice to see you guys. Slow start, but BB Team is warming up. So can you tell me about that last crippling moment against KDF?
Было медленное начало, но все-таки одержали победу в битве с KDF. Расскажи, пожалуйста, о последнем моменте.
Ну, мы увидели файт Т1 и КДФ, там команды дрались. Мы решили подойти и убили их. Было легко.
So we decided to come up to them, just kill them.
All right, that was amazing. Best of luck to you, Phil, first. And we're going
Thank
to
you.
go back to the game. Bye.
We love you, Phil, first, but we've got TSM that was doing a bit of a, I guess, a bridge camp. It's hard to say. This is just kind of a catch-out trap location that we can see does manage to exploit over onto the Expendables. Expendables kind of now forced to stop off and figure out how they want to handle the rest of this one with the way the circle's lined in. But it's going to be Party Cardi that just denies Duck Juice any options.
Yeah, I love this from TSM. We've seen it on the first game where they set up a trap for the Falcons. Now they're setting up one for the Expendables. This might be a little bit of revenge for what Clories did the other day in the final circuit finals, where Clories just drove down Alo, ended up getting one before he was taken out, and now you forced the Expendables to take a very different path. TSM, sure, they suffered a knock, but they got a couple points and they need some momentum here. I like this kind of play from TSM.
I mean, this is a squad that has been messed with around Georgia Pool enough, and I think that is trying to make sure that they don't have to worry about that anymore. If anything, that feels like the TSM play might be an extension of what we saw during the circuit series, where we saw the Expendables just kind of roll up right on top of Purdy Curdy to start the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it is 100% a bit of that. And here's the funny thing is for TSM, there's the potential that even another team tries to make a go of it.
Yeah.
See if they can lock and load for another bridge camp. There's Day Trade starting to drive in that direction themselves. A couple of late trailers, of course, from the military base proper. 4 a.m. BB team down there still making their way in, but still plenty of time to go in the first circle. Luna did drop Stalber.
Raining, you have one job, and you do it well.
He does everything.
He does everything well. We actually saw him pop off on a couple of very
Yes.
nice clutches.
Him and Zenith, again, a longtime duo from various different teams in Korea, are really solid players. Really have flown under the radar globally, but I've had the pleasure of watching them quite a bit over in Korea. Just really, really strong individual players. And you've seen that Zenith in particular today has been called upon to do some heavy lifting in terms of that solo play for T1, getting the info, being the anchor, and relying on EN, Type, and Raining to kind of be that tip of the spear, kind of break things open in those fights.
This is a bit of a skirmish that's going on very far to the northeast around Kameshki, more up on the Stalber hillside itself. Multiple members for Luna Galaxy are up on top of the Stalber in the compounds, and Petrichor Roads just kind of roaming around trying to use the pathing options. There could be another encroachment in on this as Eternal Fire is going to be coming in. Update on the potential bridge camp from just a moment ago. TSM did leave the compound, the quads that they were playing a moment ago, so it's allowed Day Trade to rotate pretty cleanly.
Yep, that's a good point. The Falcons already in position, so TSM drives close, but says, oops, nope, never mind. There's already some folks there. Let's get on out and try to find a different spot to hang out for now. 17 will be another team that's ahead of them. EF driving
Poor
towards
Vinny.
Stalber.
Vinny's just like, I want to go hang out with my friends.
He's
Please
like,
stop. Please.
I just went to get a car, leave me alone. Well, okay.
Go back down the hillside, let me have up here, and it looks like EF is going to let him do it.
Yeah, no, I like this a lot from Luna Galaxy. Again, using that early E pickup, getting a lot better loot in Stalber proper to make this setup for these next couple of circles a lot easier. There is an emergency pickup I see from the Expendables, the last two members from North George, that might be used. TSM just going to maintain control of the western edge of this road. And for now, looks like things might quiet up a bit unless something weird happens with like BB team and 4 a.m.
We do have an emergency pickup that was called by TE, not wanting to deal with any of the craziness that's going to be going on inside the circle. Looks like it's timed pretty well, so they should get picked up right as the circle is going to be coming in. So I think that they might be just a bit ahead of it. So now they are going to get lifted, and the blue zone should finish collapsing in about 20 seconds. So they should have some decent options. Way off in the distance, I think that we've had as well EF. After getting harassed a bit by Luna Galaxy, they've called one on the opposing side. So if the circle hard shifts, we wouldn't be surprised if we see them take that. BB is also not yet inside the circle, as well as 4 Angry Men, but they have pretty open paths. So nothing scary for them just quite yet to have to contend with. New circle about to pop right now. Where are we headed? And it's going to be a bit of a split right along the river.
kind of curious about EF because they've already driven their cars away from that helicopter. So are they going to be able to drive back in time if they want to pick it up? I doubt it. Maybe just use Code Marco as a scout.
But wait, we've got Petrichor Road FaZe all running right next to Na'Vi. Well, it's going to be VP with some vision in it. Freak's already in pretty much center position, trying to defend up as well. This is going to be just pretty much a drive-by fiesta as everybody's just going to be cutting a path in. FaZe do have the inside track, so it looks like they've managed to at least get some distance away from Petrichor Road. Petrichor Road has to make a stop off. They're getting a bit too harassed. Don't like what's going to be going on in front of them. So FaZe at least managed to buy positioning onto this, but VP has to be careful. They were running a split of their own. They're trying to regroup. All eyes back over into this compound, and yes, VP has a foothold in it, but they are very heavily outnumbered. Nixie goes for the spray out, does get the knock on a one, and that's going to be a quick follow-up. So well-defended FaZe almost managed to make this, but a second too late.
Yeah, the rest of VP now desperately trying to get there, see if they can back up their comrades just in case that fight kicked off a little bit more, but we know now that FaZe seemingly going to be peeling off of this fight, don't really want to get involved. But that being said, I do see T1 somewhat angling in that direction, potentially. Oh, all of a sudden, 17 just dying. Falcons are gone. What?
Yeah, 17 was going for a stretch down onto this position where we saw the Falcons playing from, while Twisted was also doing the same thing. So that means that while 17 got authority in the firefight against the Falcons, TSM just backstabbed right on top of that. Twisted also eyeing this position means the fact that it has now just been absolutely picked clean, and there is nothing left over here in the East.
That's crazy. TSM, 5 kills in this game already. They are just choosing violence this particular Aaron go.
Delwyn.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah, Ian, this is exactly what he wants, man. While we have seen the Expendables do some crazy plays, T1 is just, they're just fighting out of their minds right now.
They aren't afraid of anything. They will take any fight, any time. That grenade just came up short. He saw Clories as he was going for the flush. Going to be able to come in, scoop up some extra utility, some extra loot, find some more frags. He's thinking about trying to wipe the Expendables. And Clories? Clories?
Parachute saved his life right there. Also, a quick update on FaZe. Remember how they got shoot away from VP a second ago? James is still just driving around, man.
Fex got knocked.
That's no good.
Fex is dead. You're absolutely right. That is no good.
Sorry, I had a flashback to old school PUBG since we were talking about it beforehand whenever Clories fell off the side of it. And it's just like remember the Carson coming off on the side with Banana Man and being like, just have to hide the evidence. So.
It is nice to have those parachutes, though. That is for sure, so you can make those escapes these days. TSM out on the gas station, actually. They're kind of just trailing Twisted Minds, but Twisted Minds with that hill underneath could opt to take a fight. They've got control of the compound that's to the east of this as well, so they're pretty well covered if they want to try to make a bit of a harassment play onto those TSM players that are inside of the gas station proper. BB team, very late entry, but the good news is a lot of space is actually opened up because of this hardship, because a lot of teams trying to stay on the north side of the river, and there isn't a ton to work with. It's opened up a little bit of extra room to snuggle in on the north side of Razak.
EF pretty far into the north still. New circle now about to pop, and it leans into the Badlands itself. So that area that TSM's in control of going to be a bit feisty, as it looks like BB is going to be rolling in pretty quick. Up into the north, we also have Na'Vi that needs to regroup. Petrichor Road not inside the circle. EF on their approach might find some spicy approaches to deal with, as it is going to be day trade while they're trying to regroup. Into the east, T1 looks like they still have a bit of angles that they can play from coming out from No Lean, but Luna Galaxy, the odd team out.
Emergency pickup number 2 for Luna Galaxy potentially here. Ooh, a nice knock onto Purdy Curdy from Phil first. Na'Vi loses a player in transition to the Kwangdong Freaks, who've settled up 4-man in a compound kind of northeast of the circle. Petrichor Road driving for something, anything, and they are going to take this kill onto Sussit, it looks like.
This has gotten crazy over here because we also have Day Trade that's also wrapping in right next to EF. EF does go for a stopover and goes for some shots into him, so Petrichor Road does get a position to play from for the time being, but Freaks get vision on this compound as well. Absolutely harassing Petrichor Road, but with the amount of vehicles, there is some cover to be played for the time being. 4 Angry Men was also making an approach over from Yasnaya, but got kind of shooed away based off of the positioning coming up from BB Team as well as Twisted Minds. Luna Galaxy T1 still need to make an approach. James and his car still just living the best life that they could possibly find, but I don't know where they can choose to stop off at. James, you sneaky, sneaky man.
I kind of wonder if this was actually Petrichor Road's original intended landing location. Here's the fight. Purdy Curdy Nice job. And then it's the last member, Luke, going to find 17 there. But I kind of suspect that this might have actually been Petrichor Road's initial intended kind of place to land. We've seen it in the past where Akeleft loves to get inside of these and just wait it out as long as possible and try to break out from them. But instead they got caught up in the shack because they really wanted that point, and they're stuck a little bit ahead of Jeems now. See if they can get out of there. It's really tough because that shack is under fire control from the north and the east, and it's really nasty to try to get out.
Oh, Nuren's all by his lonesome right now, but luckily EF doesn't want to push too much more out of this. They're just content to be noisy neighbors with each other. Into the east, we still haven't seen T1 make a committal into where that they want to go. Still in the no lean area, playing down type, still next to the lake itself, coming out along the river. Luna Galaxy still needs to make their approach, but they've got a couple of hidey holds that they can hang out with for the time being. VP now regrouping a bit more, pretty centered as well, so should be able to survive for now, but boy, it does not feel good. You can see just hunkering down and hiding.
Yeah, that is not a part of the map that is super easy to play in. So certainly for VP, you're just trying to hunker down and hoping that a lot of fighting happens around you and that you're going to be able to like find an edge late game, play from
39 points for them. They've got to be buzzing at the moment.
Yeah, second place for that, and one good game for them within, like, again, any team in this lobby here, they can go out and they can get 0 points, and then it's everything on the board for everyone else.
But I think that speaks to how good the Kwangdong Freaks are right now. Everybody else is so close together.
Insanely
it
close.
means everything is spread. The kills are spread. When one does well, another does badly. The exception to that rule is Kwangdong Freaks. They recover points when they got nothing. They make wins out of dross, and these guys have been nothing but short of impressive. From the moment they took the field in Circuit 1, they have been impressive, and that is terrifying at the end of day one if I'm the rest of these teams who hope to be PGC champions.
They've clearly come in with a game plan, not only to the PGC Grand Finals, but also they had it in Circuit as well. And considering the fact that we felt like Circuit as well as Grand Finals were two entirely different beasts, and they had two entirely powerful plans across those two. It's extremely respectable as we are getting ready to go into our final game. All of these teams looking forward to try and getting themselves as many points on the board, because you're right. I mean, looking at second all the way through, I would say 15th even. Technically, Falcons on 17 points. They can jump with a big win as well. Day Trade is the only outlier on the backside of that with only 5 points. It's been a rough day for them. I don't think we can talk too much to how that's been going, but of course, the other outlier.
Even with 5 games yet, I don't feel like it's a sample size enough.
It's not big enough.
Huge, big respect to them. Like, if they're able to come back and turn around, and they easily could. Like, and just like we started the day with, there's so many teams in this lobby that can win the whole thing, right? But that Circuit performance is still lying deep within the Freaks, and again, they have been able to replicate so far. 2 second places, a win, a 4th place with 4 kills. They're up there, and again, building a little bit of a foundation to stand off above the rest.
The fear that I have is when we talk about beating those teams, it's about tilting them. And yes, the mid-pack up to second is close, but when they go home tonight, that's not what they're talking about. The coach is going to say, guys, we're so close to moving into second, but all the players are thinking about is, I want to be a PGC champion. KDF is already getting impossible.
I think what they're really talking about is those 2 second places, how could we have won them? Because that's the winner's mentality. That is how you improved into the next day is, we got this points, it's good, it's a good foundation to build on, but the moments that we could have done a little bit better, that could have been, 5 or 6 points better, or even in a situation where from first till second is 4 points different for the win, and 3 or 4 kills is 7 points. 2 of those games, that would have been 14 points difference. That is what makes champions once we come to the last day.
Can you imagine Salute staring down a back-to-back World Championship after having to switch rosters and all the like? But anyway, gentlemen, time for the last game of day number 1. What a rip-roaring adventure we've already been on here throughout the day, and it's time to finish it off on Erangel once again.
PGC 2024 Grand Finals have kicked off in a massive way. Every game has been an absolute banger. We still have 1 more to go, paper thin, and this plane path is brutal.
Yeah, very northernly shifted for this particular match, but man, oh man, what insanely good finishes we've had. That last game may have been the best one yet. This has been such a good day.
It's just day one. Just day one.
Just day one.
We still got 2 more days of action after this, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Also, big shout out to everybody inside the audience and everybody that is watching at home. I hope you guys are having an absolute blast. Plane path now cutting across the due north of everything here is going to be going over Georgia Pole, straight up line, going right over the river. Big stretches coming out from a couple of our squads. If you're going to be going for anything, this is going to be so hard to read.
For sure. This is where things can get a little bit dicey with teams having similar drop spots like BB Team and Day Trade up on the north towards Stalbert. This time around, Navi does feel comfortable enough to get to Mill to Power. Luna is going to be in Lipovka. Other than that, FaZe is going to be going all the way up north to Zarki. And that's...
Road in Georgia Pole?
Yeah, North George seems to be where they can only really slot in because Ferry Pier very much out of the equation for trying to get there. There's just no good car paths that you're going to be able to take unless you went way over to the most western road and drove all the way down to like Primorsk or something. But hey,
okay.
Seems to be not so bad now.
Yes, there is also Yasnaya split, but I wouldn't be too concerned with that. It looks like 4 Angry Men pretty much have the west, and then down to the southeast is going to be where we see T1 playing from. Petrichor Road, yes, does get North Georgia Pole. To the south, that's going to be TSM. The Expendables don't look like they're going to do too much harassment on a TSM this time around. Maybe that quad hold stalled them out and let them go a bit more down to the south. FaZe, though, going to go ahead and go to their Zarki drop, and hey, Zarki's getting attention in the circle. I'm happy about it.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Somebody has set foot in Zarki.
It's the first time for everything.
That's about all that's going to happen.
That's about it. Yeah. There's no way this circle's going there, most likely. Should go like northeast. Maybe.
No.
But most likely we're going to go south. I'm hoping for the Everest ending. I think that's one of my favorite spots to end on Erangel because there's so many interesting ways that you could take those fights on that mountain. And we haven't really seen one. I don't think this event. Maybe there was one and I just forgot about it, but certainly would be nice to see that.
Those are some good multi-views to have today. So if you guys want to see how the best have managed to climb up the leaderboard, you have the opportunities, make sure you go check that over at PUBGesports.com. So, okay. TSM, center of the circle, feeling pretty good. Pachinki, you can see that 17 is going to be leaving it in just 1 second. The Expendables look like they do have inside track to Everest itself, so I'm going to be curious to see if Corey's actually goes for the top of it, or if maybe he's just going to be scouting over here.
Looks like he's going all the way to the top, from what I can see. We do have a Freaks player as well making their way over there.
Yeah.
Gumin's going to be doing the scouting this time around. Salute, not close enough to be that guy this time. So the Freaks with some flexibility.
Salute, not him? Is that what you're saying?
I would never.
Never.
I would never.
All right, Gumin up on top, so we can see that it's going to. We can see multiple teams that can kind of hold down around Everest. It just gets a bit dicier. It does look like the Freaks are going to be sending Heaven over here towards Everest at roughly the same time that 17 is going to be over here, but I think that 17 saw the vehicles. Heaven, what are you wanting to do? This is an awkward position to be playing from, as there's a whole squad just on the other side of that hill, and Gumin now kind of having to defend up for him. This is all around awkward for both squads.
It is. At least I think Suju got some kind of idea that the top of Everest was not going to be a very viable place to do much, and he's using these hills to keep himself obscured from any potential players that are going to be in the vicinity, and they are just driving around. I mean, he's fishing for shots. He's just really trying to see if anybody's going to harass him. Hasn't had that happen. Now, Heaven probably knows, that Suju's there. Can relay that over to Gumin, say, hey, we've got somebody out there. And then you've got Bean and Salute trying to drive around, trying to create some extra angles, maybe create some extra control towards the mountainside.
You've been kind of letting Suju play that opposing front and letting it go because the other members can just crest on the other side of the hill. Suju did hear the vehicle, so now he's going to retreat. 17 looks like they're kind of still playing around that compound, and it's pretty strong, so no surprise in that. VP has kind of maneuvered in from the north, so they're playing the opposing front from where we can see this at. So 3 members now for the Freaks on Everest itself. Meanwhile, Heaven's still just trying to be in the no man's land position. Looks like he's finally going to hop in his vehicle and cut a rug up there.
I was going to say, this is an awfully dangerous spot for Heaven to be in for too much longer. There's a decent chance that another team comes rolling up behind you and just kind of kicks you in the butt, but he is going to find some more safety with the rest of the Freaks as they try to lock down the eastern side of the mountain proper as best as they can. The Expendables do have a couple players up there. They're running a bit of a split, but I'm seeing another player looking to reinforce this position. With the Freaks sending extra forces up to the top, they need to have a little bit of extra oomph maybe, or they're just going to trade places. I'm not sure where Clories is going. Maybe they're just going to try to take the compound that's south of here, leave Tanvu on his own, and just play for more of a off-mountain position.
If this continues to go Everest, woe be to everybody if we have the Expendables and the Freaks up on top of this hole. I don't know. I mean, the Expendables don't like neighbors, so they might go after the Freaks at some point, and that would be the only benefit of it. But that is going to be a lot of people that can shoot at long range, as TE broke 200 kills.
That's insane. They've been just such a treat to watch this event. Their style of play so aggressive. Speaking of aggressive, Luna's driving right next to 4 AM. They're like, never mind. That ain't going to do. And I think they're going to get out of there. They do lose a tire for that, though. But all things considered, not the end of the world.
Yeah, and that's pretty big because this isn't even in the safe zone. This was just driving by and could have been just a trap position that could have been a problem for them to deal with. So Luna looks like they're going to be shifting a bit more into the north. Down to the south, we have Na'Vi, Day Trade, and Falcons kind of tailing in on each other. No big shots coming between them, and they're kind of pathing in the southern part of the circle, which is pretty open for the time being, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is pretty much okay. 4 Angry Men hopping in their vehicles with their approach, going to be ahead of Luna now, but that's all the moving factors that we're looking at for now.
See, a lot of teams are going to be expecting the southern shift. You have to play the odds here, even though you never know. Maybe we get the 50-50 towards the river, but we'll have to wait a few more minutes to see where that's going to land. There isn't a ton of space, though, for 4 AM. You know, you've got the boatyard, you've got a few other things, but the ruins are already claimed by Twisted Minds. They've got that Blue House compound to the south of it. T1's driving towards Gatka, where Eternal Fire already is. Navi's making the widest wrap on this. They are going to be coming from that western coast, it looks like. Everybody else trying to scoot in towards Pachinki. There could actually be some fighting towards the edge of Pachinki. Day Trade's already pulled up shop. Falcons are there. 4 AM's not too far.
Yeah, and this is kind of an awkward spot for all of these teams, as they all just rolled next to each other, and it looks like they're all going to be regrouping pretty close to each other. Pachinki, the hot spot that everybody's enjoying playing from. 4 Angry Men, kind of the odd team out, not quite going all the way into it, as Falcon's going to be trying to regroup just to the south of them. Day Trade just to the south of that. T1 a bit further ahead, but that's about all that's going to be going on. Meanwhile, in the north, it is going to be Fex and the rest of FaZe that are going to be playing up here. It's just them and Luna Galaxy, and then one split for VP north of the river.
I tell you what, if this goes north.
Oh
no. Oh, no. This is what I was worried about. Day Trade had hid themselves.
I mean, just picks up an easy point off of it, and Falcons, man. They drive into the wrong spots of the map all day today and just lose a member here or there.
It's been brutal. It's been brutal for the Falcons. It just seems like every decision that they've tried to make has been the wrong one, and sometimes it just be like that.
And it's different teams too. It's not like they're getting harassed by one squad.
No.
It's just like, okay, that didn't work, let's try that. Now it's like, oh, well, that's a new friend that we didn't know about. And
I mean, so here's why. To be honest, if there isn't a team on that north edge of Pachinki already, because that's the better side of the city, and you drive there and you don't take any damage or anything, nobody shoots at you, you don't expect a team to be inside Pachinki proper still. Very unlikely. And it's just kind of like Day Trade doing something a little uncouth that catches Falcons quite off guard.
So everything just waiting for the new circle to show itself, as most of our teams have kind of leaned into the Everest situation. Update on Everest itself right now. We do have all of the Freaks still up on it. 2 members for the Expendables playing down on the southern section of Everest, and then there is a 1-1 split controlling the foothills going into that pathing. So almost like a trap, expecting somebody to maybe try to make a sneaky play going up after Everest, and they're just waiting to pounce on it.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing about Everest, and I've said it once and I'll say it again, a lot of times you want to be the last team that comes up on either side of it, either the west or the east, because there's often, if the circle goes there, there's going to be congestion, teams fighting up towards the top, and everybody's going to kind of be third-partying it, and if you're that last team to that party, oftentimes you're going to get like first or second in those games.
So does it bother you at all that it's called Everest, but it's not the tallest mountain on Erangel?
But it's what everybody calls it, so I have to.
Okay, circle pops. It does lean into Everest. A lot of Gatka fields in play, so the northern team's going to have to make a wrap. Most of our teams pretty much already in position. It's going to be Day Trade down to the south, so pretty much a collection of teams that are going to have to just be compressing it a bit more. VP should just be able to play off the positions that they're already having an eye for. Meanwhile, Luna, FaZe, they could be bumping heads in just a little while. TSM also going to have to regroup, but they are very close to Petrichor Road.
for sure. But this actually isn't too bad for the Falcons because they were already in vehicles making a move. So they've got an opportunity to find some open space. I mean, 4 AM T1 also in the vicinity of, I think, where the Falcons' potential landing spot is. They might just take the radio tower hill. That's a really nice spot to have in this circle. It's dead center, fairly defendable.
Delwyn.
Hello? Well, that makes
No, gets bounced out.
Oh, no!
Down to 1 HP. VP just driving through TE right now. Duck Juice nowhere to go. He's all by his lonesome. VP wants it, and they take it.
I'm flabbergasted.
Evie likes that when he is just.
I'm flabbergasted, to be honest. I thought the Expendables would at least make that costly for VP.
Hey, Expendables, how's it feel to be done like the Expendables to everybody else? That's kind of the way it rolls. And now look, VP now hitting 200 kills.
Nice. A little taste of TE's own medicine there, but VP having a really solid day. They're in second place. I mean, this team full of veterans, phenomenal players all across the board. Very smart, well led by Scoom, their coach. They are having a tremendous start here to the 2024 PGC Finals. So it's just on to Duck Juice, who's unflappable as a human being. He is the nicest, just happy-go-lucky dude you'll ever meet, and he is just he's okay. You know, it's not the best game for them, but he's just going to try to lock down that house by himself.
Day Trade playing very far down to the south right now. Nobody even pretty much near them, so in complete control over this area. T1's going to be probably about 400 meters up to the north of them. Freaks now starting to deal with more of the friends that are getting closer and closer, that most notably being FaZe. Jeems, no surprise, being the forefront man for FaZe, trying to see if he can get himself a foothold inside of Everest just in case it goes over there. And yeah, there's a couple of interesting things going on in the circle.
He's super confused about a doozy right now. He's out in a boat, or maybe a glider. It's probably a glider. Now that I look at it again, it's probably a glider. I got to remember that he does like those gliders, but he was circling around the coast, just doing a little bit of scouting, and he is going to continue to kind of check out the edges of Georgia Pole. FaZe, after such a good start to today, you know, their Miramar was so strong. Since then, they really haven't been able to keep up that momentum. 6th place, 31 points right now. Have Jeems up on the mountain, and this is just TE's trying to crash in to reinforce, and they just get cut down on the way through. So a little bit of a head scratcher there for Tanvu and company. Chloe's just laughing, but absolutely not the way that the Expendables wanted to end the day. Another team that had a pretty solid day overall, 33 points, nothing to shake a stick at, but definitely would have liked to have had a better finish.
Duck Juice is still alive, and I never count on Duck
true.
Juice. He will find some way to get some points. He might backstab somebody, he might do something, but he's got a compound that he has to defend by himself right at the foothills of Everest, and that's a scary place to be right now, especially as a solo.
Yes, and that compound has 4 buildings in it, right? So it's very crashable. Well, it centers on him, so get the rat hat on for
mixed blessings.
Yeah.
I'm center of the circle. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm center of the circle.
What am I gonna do? All right, Day Trade, you got to collapse in. Navi's got to collapse in. BB, Petrichor Road as well. TSM in a bit of a gatekeep up to the north, so they can try to hold this one back. Luna Galaxy also trying to encroach in the circle, but it's going to be Twisted Minds that are going to be holding that for the time being. Yes, Gatka's position is going to be pretty strong in the circle for the moment, but I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see how we see the teams navigate this as T1's kind of leapfrogging over here. Petrichor Road catching some air, but that's fine.
They've just got a lot of teams right to their west, so this is a bit tricky. Car v car action. Chewy has to go for the reload, and instead just opting to make sure that the landing spot for Petrichor Road is going to be safe. They're going to get there. Aches left now, peppering some damage down on top of Diffix. Spiral going to find Hakatori. So Na'Vi had a big split, and as they tried to regroup, they got caught up in a couple different teams, and it looks like they're going to have to just sacrifice one of their fraggers.
Yeah, Freaks went after Duck Juice's positioning, so bit of a problem, but it should be okay for the time being. Duck Juice just kind of navigating it, beamed down, but no other attention. Duck Juice just hit and run. He's like, I'm done. I'm sneaking out. I'm going to go to the opposing point. Everything should be fine. Day Trade coming in from the south. Duck Juice, yep. Again, this is how this guy buys points, man. He just knows what to do.
I love it. I mean, he really can't afford to stick around there. This is definitely the better call of some decisions he could make here. Just hope and pray that this is just completely forgotten about, but we'll have to wait and see as time rolls on. BB team making a wide wrap towards the southern edge. Lou is going to take Nurens here. Day Trade again caught in transition. Good shots from Twisted Minds from Day Trade. in a lot of trouble. They are at the bottom of the leaderboard and they are losing 2.
Just nowhere to go. This circle is so open, so flat down here to the south, and there's a lot of teams already firmly entrenched, literally, whenever we're looking at Twisted Minds. BB team having to make a path over here to the south, and this is going, they have a bit of a ravine that they can play, but that's not going to feel too good as it's right on the edge of the circle.
Yeah, it's hard to get through some of these fields towards the north, especially if the circle shifts towards a mountain. There's a lot of open space. There's a lot of ledges along the road that's south of the mountain that you can shoot people from. It becomes very challenging to try to find some way up and in. You know, there's going to be teams like 17, Kwangdong Freaks, Eternal Fire, and Gatka even that are going to be gatekeeping you, plus the teams up on top of the mountain itself potentially. It can be really, really tricky to try to sled in that direction. So if it does go that way, we'll have to see. But Southernly, you can just kind of lock down whatever you've got and try to hold your field compound. Anadol takes down Ferris. I mean, Na'Vi just can't go anywhere. But we are going over to the northwest to Gatka.
Okay, Falcons, center of the circle, going to get a lot of attention, heat thrown their way. BB's going to have to make a smaller wrap. T1's going to have to regroup 17. Where are you looking? Foothills of Everest have now gone over and shifted, belong to FaZe Clan. Freaks get themselves the compound that they were looking at with Duck Juice. A lot of control off of that for the time being, but where do we see Luna go? I don't even know. Up on top of Everest, there's nowhere. 17 just sending it, and they're going to be rolling right into the Falcons. Falcons get something out of it, but not enough. Finally getting a knock. It's going to be Xiaowu that goes down. Are they going to continue to go yet again? Snakers picks up another one, and that's going to be 17 just littering bodies back behind them as they roll through.
That's huge points for the Falcons. A nice setup right down a rotation path that basically eliminate 17. Yes, Lil Go's still alive, but he is out in the open with a rock and a little bit of a hillside to protect him, a few bushes as well. And he's got T1 not too far away. I expect them to probably group up in the compound just to his southeast here relatively shortly. So you got the blue house there, and Gyumin actually is going to take out Duck Juice. Oh, Duck Juice, no.
That was a good read, though. BB, now you're going to have to wrap, and all of T1's going to have vision on you. So just the duo at the start, popping in some damage. Ian, are we going to hit anything? Now the other duo getting vision. Daytrade's going to be wrapping in right back behind this one. 4 Angry Men now getting vision. BB somehow just navigating this clean enough to keep everybody alive. Slowly creeping up this hillside. They're going to find a dip to play. It doesn't feel good, but they managed to survive long enough. Built first gets the knock on to Bellamoth. Daytrade, they wanted that position, but there's nowhere to go.
Tanadol, this is tough. There's a little bit of a dip here, but it's definitely not ideal. Looks like he's just going to use one of these bushes to try to keep himself obscured, but he is the last member alive for Daytrade. Yeah, he's center circle, but he is out in the open, and here come the grenades. They're right on top of him. He's done. He's dusted.
That is all you can do. Just pray, cling to life, even sends the vehicle to the afterlife with you. 4 Angry Men, they need to cut in, and they've got their eye set on BB's positioning, but Spyro stops them in their tracks.
These are phenomenal grenades from BB team. Oh, Petrichor Road could get involved. They've got some angles. Summer with the mini. Trying to light them up, but not really connecting. There we go. Now we're seeing some of that green blood pop out of 4AM's bodies as Aches Left is going for the flank.
Oh man, this guy is feeling it, creeping up right back behind 4 Angry Men. He knows he can get into a good backstab position. BB's just got to hold the line for long enough for him to get there. Slow, steadily getting into that point. He now knows pretty well who's probably going to be in front of him. Is he going to go for the push? Couple of different side angles can go, but T1 back behind BB is going to make this really problematic. Ian drops it right on top of Spyro and Bill first.
Yeah, now Aches Left can spring to life. He's got 4 frags ready and loaded. The first one going to be coming through. Summer finds the knock. The grenade from Aches Left cleans up one. The explosion takes down 4AM.
Petrichor Road, it's time to continue your run. You have to deal with BB as well as T1 in order to get there. T1, though, did spot out the last member for 17 Gaming. Going to go ahead and flush that one out. Meanwhile, up into the north, we do have 17 Gaming. Not 17 Gaming, I'm sorry. FaZe caught up with Luna Galaxy. TSM has stretched out and also taken some side shots into it.
Oh, that grenade gets rid of the hay bale. It's Petrichor Road trying to save Aches Left. T1 doing something. Yep, there we go. It is going to be the end of BB team. T1's going to have to go for a res. Meanwhile, down in the bottom right-hand corner, you have FaZe squaring up with a couple different teams. Luna, TSM, all involved over here on this northern edge. Luna and FaZe trying to fight as they come down the side of the mountain. TSM, though, harassing them.
Yeah, I mean, VP and Freaks are both going to have vision on whatever Luna and FaZe try to do. So hopping in vehicles, it's a wing, a prayer, and just trying to send it up as a Kraken, seeing if maybe he can get a knock, maybe get some kills before they have to run into the absolute death trap. But EF drops some nades on top of Twisted Minds, and now Example off by himself. But Tulin's not even inside the circle just yet. The two of them up. Example trying to see if maybe he can eye a path to see if he can get over to his friends, get a res.
It's going to be tricky. Let's see if the Freaks want to do anything about this. For now, I don't see them leaving their compound. So these reses actually could come through. They're getting some help from T1. EF getting cut down by them from afar. Batulin's using this opportunity while there's some chaos going on around him to try to maneuver in, to try to regroup with the rest of Twisted Minds.
Heaven just clinging to life over here. He's got not too much that he can do. Fex is already waiting for him. Corexy also trying to regroup. So at least getting away from TSM for the time being, but TSM is making a foot push over here and they want it. Actually, Nixie's going to be doing the same. Heaven tries to make something happen, but Haven is going to go down. That means the fact that Fex has to be careful. Corexy down right there puts him in a very vulnerable position. TSM is continuing their push. Meanwhile, EF having to contend up against this frontal approach has to deal now with a reverse backstab coming in from T1.
Here we go. TSM knows they have FaZe on the ropes and wants to finish the job. Push is coming through. They're trying to flank out. They took some damage along the way. Fex trying to spray him down. Not going to happen. Correctly, though, somehow gets two. What in the world just happened there? Unbelievable. I mean, FaZe is going to go out, but man, oh man, Corexy puts him hurt.
Okay, it's going to be the Freaks now stepping down into Twisted's positioning. Perfectic's already going to be down. Heaven spots one. Human spots another. The Freaks in control of this point, to say the least. EF, though, stopped off, can't get too involved, still has to deal with T1 back behind him. Falcon's trying to gatekeep it out, but Human just doing a good job on making sure that nobody from Twisted can pop up. You can see the Freaks don't want to maneuver down into that valley. They know it's risky. Example, still up. Snake in the grass, wants to pick up at least one, goes for the spray, does get that one, but he is also going to go down.
Oh, that's brutal for being just not ready for a player to be there. T1 trying to knock out Quetpa. Can't do so. Heaven now getting involved. Gets the knock on to Raining. Him and Zenith are out. Zenith cleaned up. Rurn trying to be scooped up by Gyumin. EN there providing what cover fire he can. Here come the Falcons as well.
I mean, they realize that they can counterflank into this one. Can they find some opportunities? Type has to just drop down. He's the last one up. TSM is eliminated up in the north, as that was a quick shift coming up from Petrichor Road. So Type just hunkering down, trying to survive. Quetpa in a similar situation. The Freaks don't want to overstep, but let's not forget that we also have Soset for Na'Vi over here. Type creeping slowly over next to Raining, seeing if maybe he can get a res. Doesn't feel safe about it, but it's going to be the Freaks continuing to walk down.
5 kills for Gyumin in this game.
Okay.
Huge day for the Freaks overall. 61 points already. Still could potentially scoop up some more. Salute has a P90. He knows Type is somewhere out there just spraying, but I think that hill blocking in enough Kepa right underneath the Freaks' noses. Do they know?
If they go after those T1 kills, he could pop up and be the deadliest Jack-in-the-Box on the face of the earth for the Freaks. They don't, you can see though, it's so scary to go down there. They do not want to shift into the valley. Falcons still kind of counter-maneuvering around them. Snakers can't get too much of a bead in. So we've got Petrichor Road up into the north. It's going to be the Freaks over into the east. VP with a strong control point to be playing from, the only compound that's still inside the circle. So said with nowhere to go, he's just going to be kind of gate kept out over there. I mean, he's going to try to step in, but Axleft's got vision, and look at the high ground. What do? Rello's going to be the one that picks it up.
Now already 413 damage in this game for Axleft, and we still have 14 other players in the lobby with him. Of course, 3 on his own team, but Type, Groza, Mark 12 is the weaponry that he will be fielding here into this late game stage. But the Falcons have done a tremendous job locking down their spot since that early rotation they had to make after losing Flood so early in Pachinki.
Okay, so just turns back into the waiting game. Type the odd man out, to say the least, as there's multiple squads still alive, and just poor old Type
but do not count out that man. He can make some big plays. Luke Rux gets some vision onto Chewy. Does get the knock onto him. Looks like he's going to instantly shift over, try to get the flesh. Freaks hear this, and they're now shifting up and can backstab onto Petrichor Road.
Petrichor Road is wrapping to try to take the fight against VP, who's stretched out of their compound to try to find points. A nice idea from Virtus Pro. Really love to see that. Type just going to chill. That grenade going to go way too far. Snakers, do you have any more frags there? Try to take out this sneaky T1 player. We're down to 5 teams. Salute with that P90 now strikes.
Oh! That is a big damage. A knock coming up for Salute. Can we see Akesleft get the counter? Human playing down below this one. 5 kills. A massive game for him already, but he's going to be stepping up against Akesleft, who just clutched up an amazing game, but Salute spots him out. Petrichor Road, nowhere to go, and it's going to be the Freaks now starting to get more control over this high ground.
Only 23 bullets left in that P90 for Salute, so he doesn't have too much left to go there. Looks like they might be trying to go for this res. They're going to get it onto Ming. Summer watching the hillside, but KDF has a lot of time. They've got the edge of the circle. They don't have to overextend. The hold here from Ming, can't do it. Yumin's got him.
Meanwhile, Type still clinging to life, takes some damage off the nade, can't make it into the safe zone, so he's going to go down. Petrichor Road is eliminated as well, so here we are. VP with 4, Falcons with 3, and Freaks with 3.
Freaks could really extend their lead in this game if they can somehow find a way to get the win. The problem is Virtus Pro's compound very much still in this circle. The 2 red houses going to be underneath the Freaks' vision, and they're just going to be able to wait it out on top of the hill for now, though. They don't have to really try to crash that compound or anything. Instead, they're trying to fan out, trying to gain a little bit of extra space. Falcons do have some sight lines on it. I see some shots ringing out in their direction.
Rello sees the crate slowly crawling over to it.
I
need
Fine.
late game.
Fine.
Gimme. Meanwhile,
Fine.
Freaks have one of their own that's going to be landing right next to them. So Salute has got some vision on the Snakers. Going to be hitting some of those shots.
That's another P90. I swear to God.
Oh my God. What did we see Rello walk away with? I didn't see it pop over.
I don't know what he got the Famous.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Groza. Okay, well, that's pretty good too.
Okay, so Falcons have control south of the road. The issue is we're at phase number 7, and this is going to be kind of complicated if they have to cross over. The firing lines for the Freaks and VP are beaded in on them. Beamy is playing the wall, just the cleft, coming down off of the Freaks' positioning, so they have to be very heady about how they're trying to navigate around that point. They can't shift over more to the east because that's going to be where Roth and Snakers are going to be playing from.
In terms of the util game, it's relatively even between the Falcons and VP. KDF lacking on some of the throwable explosives, only 1 frag to speak of between the 3 remaining players, but a lot of stuns. VP, though, definitely feeling good. You know, they've got a lot of smokes, they've got mollies, they've got frags, they've got stuns. They've got a lot of opportunity to make this endgame fight a living nightmare. The Freaks are going to have to start using smokes already, even to just try and get down this hill. You can see there just isn't much for them to work with. They do have this coop up here, could use that to try to make a move, so there is some opportunity for them to flex out. Just depends on the timing, and VP, that's the real concern. They've got that edge of that compound that's going to be in this next circle, so it's going to be really tricky to get past their sight lines.
And once they maneuver down here, dude, Beamy's just going to absolutely beam into them. Now 2 members. Evie has also come over to support. Freaks doing the shots over onto the Falcons. That's going to be a big knock. Now that means that we have to see a committal come in on res, or do they just abandon? They know the fact that they can maybe get him. Blue Zone's going to be coming in. They want to make sure that they have their members up, but that means that Falcons have to surrender over a lot of their vision and their sight lines. Rello also getting spotted out, so that means that they're having to play from the back foot, and he's going to go down as well. Too many firing lines onto the Falcons, and there is just nowhere to go.
And now you can see Beamy trying to go uphill. That grenade was so close to heaven. Heaven there. Happy Feet gets out of the way. Salute trying to play gatekeeper a little bit. Sees the Beezy getting a vehicle. Gets beamed down by Nixie.
Nixie with a massive knock. Virtus Pro, are you going to make the push up that hill? It is so hazardous. You can see Freaks just trying to see if they can get away. Picking him up, running. Nade's going to be rolling down. How close is it going to go? Narrowly getting away. Vehicles exploding back behind, but you've got to commit into this res if you want it. You don't have a lot of time.
Well, this is allowing the Falcons to get through with their reses on the other side of the map. I think they're going to get all 3 back up. Yeah, Rello's there. Snakers holding. Snakers bringing him back to life. So Roth playing guard while the Freaks and Virtus Pro kind of duke it out over this hillside.
Right. Hopping in vehicles. Looks like they're aiming to try to get some cover, hoping the distraction between those two squads is going to be enough. Sending it around. They have a rock that they're going to be playing from. Good shift in. But it looks like the Freaks are going to be coming down roughly at the same time. Human's going to be rolling up. Goes for a tree off on the side of it. Salute. Lines up, knows exactly where Roth is, gonna try to drop a nade right on top of him. Meanwhile, Virtus Pro still right underneath of the Freaks. The grenade does not connect. We have not had anybody go down yet. It's still a 4v3v3, and finally Rello goes down, but it's to the blue zone.
Yeah, a blue zone grenade out there right by Snakers as well. Salute trying to make his move down the hill. That Groza trying to open up some more space as VP wraps in from behind on the Freaks. You've got Ibiza on the front lines over the hill here. Salute gonna let loose with some stuns first, and then they're gonna make their move. But Roth doesn't having any of it. Salute, though, in response, takes him down.
There's just no cover except for the hillside itself. Freaks know the VP are coming up back behind him. Nixie is gonna go down. Heaven does do a good job. I think Salute turns it back around yet again. Takes a lot of damage for it. But can we see the Freaks cling to life over here? Now VP has to maneuver down. It's gonna be the Falcons holding the line. It's a 1v1v2.
How did the Freaks get away with this? Beanie underneath the purview of Salute. Hasn't gotten knocked just yet. Salute has to wrap. Heaven is down. It is a 1v1v1.
Oh, but backs up against the blue zone. Snakers is going to have to move. It's going to go over to Salute. 1v1 yet again. Beanie on one side of it, and it's going to be Salute on the other. No meds for Salute. Nowhere to go. It's going to be Beanie that picks it up.
Still, it is a huge day for VP, for the Kwangdong Freaks at the top of the leaderboard. Tremendous performances across the board.
Oh my, what are these games today? Woo! PGC, I love you.
Oh man, that was such an exciting finish. I mean, each team trying to counter move each other, trying to counter time each other, and everybody losing players along the way because they know if you overcommit one direction or another, you might just get third instead of second or first. So it was such an intense battle.
I mean, there is so much to break down and how that they had to maneuver through, most notably the Freaks. I thought that VP was going to shut them down so much faster, but they found ways to pick up a couple of points. Falcons managing to make it in the later stage. Such a big game for them as well.
Yeah, no, Falcons really needed that morale boost at the end of the day, and I thought they played that about as well as they could. Again, losing players early to the Rats and Pachinki of Day Trade. They come through, make a maneuver into the middle, lock it down, knock out 17, do a great job with all of that. But we're going to throw it over to the desk for the rest of the day.
Well, Virtus Pro is sure glad that FaZe took that PGS spot because this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Virtus Pro to solidify themselves at the potential top of the World Championship. What a win. Down to a 1v1v1. They're able to take out Salute at the very end. Joining me, Toffees, as well as Avenger, to talk about this one. Avenger, it's another EMEA win. Virtus Pro, given the lease of a lifetime, as I say, to be able to play here for the grand final.
Yeah, and obviously this compound is great, right? But they played that to perfection. Putting pressure on KDF at the right time, putting pressure on Falcons at the right time, spreading out, getting Luka Rooks to get out and take an off angle and put pressure on Petrica Road. Like, it was just so well executed here for VP towards that late game.
I mean, I'll be honest though, I think that for a minute there, it felt like it was getting away from them. KDF looked really good on that sweep down on the Falcons. I think basically Snakers able to just hold that position and survive for so long using a car, a rock, and an deployable cover slowed down KDF enough that VP was able to capitalize.
And the craziest thing was they did strike at a really good timing, but once they did, both Falcons and KDF turned on them, and that cost them dearly. It was close, but the Beamy clutch towards the end. We've seen it so many times here throughout the circuits. Beamy getting a lot of kills, Beamy getting the points needed when there was needed the most, both salvaging, but hit towards the late game.
He's
just
had
perfectly executed.
He's had a brilliant day, and what a redemption arc, right?
Yeah.
In EMEA, obviously, you know, moving from roster to roster, obviously people citing maybe like attitude and things like that, but what a recovery. And clearly what has happened is a positive mindset alongside this phenomenal roster to be able to move towards this, the potential to challenge for a world championship status.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to finish in first place because KDF also got that second.
But yeah, they've got a lot of points, yeah.
Right. But that said, this was not on my bingo card to see them in contesting for first place at the end of day one.
No.
It's been very impressive to see, and it comes on the back of, like you said, yes, that compound is a good compound, and they got the circle. That's great for them, but they played out of it so well. It's been exciting to watch.
And as we say so often, right? Even if you get the circle, you need to convert. You need to maximize, and they maximized points. They got so much out of this game here. They put so much pressure on all the other teams, and yeah, what a fantastic way to end things here. And for those 2 kills, for the kills towards the end, Beamy, it's actually going to put him on 14 kills for the day, tying first with Salute for most kills today. Very impressed with how he's been able to play.
I can't help but feel on the other side for Kwangdong Freaks though, and like not only is Kwangdong Freaks playing probably carefree PUBG, but it feels like Salute is playing carefree PUBG.
Oh yeah.
And he is just rocking it.
I'm pretty sure I saw him hit that 1,000 mark as he went down, right? So like not only is he, like he's like, I may die, but I'm taking 1,000 damage with me.
Well, it's time to head over to the stage here as we have our interviews ready to go with Bella.
Hi guys, it's Bella on the stage with Beamy from Virtus Pro. Congratulations, that was an amazing day. We saw some great performance from you. And you know, Scoom actually told me that I was actually going to be able to see some real Virtus Pro action, and he was absolutely right. How was your day? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, I mean, after the circuit, we realized that we don't have to worry that much about getting top 12 every day. So we were just focusing on our own gameplay, like we practiced before we got here. And so far it seems to work out, so the day has been great.
I mean, we heard your name throughout the entire day, so that is really paying off. And PGC 2021, we got to see a lot of the Bolt Man action, so will you be running some Bolt action back for a throwback?
I mean, I'll never say never, but if I get the Luda one, I probably won't run it, but we'll see.
We'll see, all right. More to look forward to for the rest of the days. And finally, you know, we never got to hear from you before, so why don't we give a fan shout-out moment?
Yeah. Thanks for everyone that has been supporting us throughout the journey. We've been seeing through the big games that we have a lot of supporters, and we really appreciate it, and it means a lot to us.
That was great from you, Mimi. Best of luck to you for the rest of the tournament. And all right, off you go. You had such a long day, popping off the entire time. And our second interview, coming in number 1 of the leaderboard, I'll be joined by Kwangdong Freaks Kyumin. 안녕하세요. Wow. Today's game from KDF was just wild. They popped off, coming in top 4 for majority of the games. So I want to ask him what's the take of his day. 광동 프릭스의 규민 선수 만나보겠습니다. 오늘 정말 어떻게 이렇게 말로 표현을 할 수 없을 만큼 너무 자랑스러운 플레이를 보여주셨는데 1위로 마무리한 소감부터 한마디 해주세요.
일단 좋은 경기력으로 1위로 마무리하긴 했지만 아쉽게 치킨을 놓친 매치들이 많아서 그런 매치들이 아직 좀 기억에 남는 것 같고요. 자만하지 말고 앞으로 아직 12매치나 더 남았으니까 끝까지 집중해야 될 것 같습니다.
I'm happy that we finished first, but I keep thinking about the matches that we were so close to getting the chickens. So I think it's best to keep playing humble and try to maintain our lock-in mode so that we'll get more. We'll succeed throughout the remaining 12 matches. And I want to ask Kyumin, as the IGL, that build-up on Rondo was perfect. So I want to ask, you know, just sliding out there by yourself was a huge risk move, but I want to hear more about how his approach of the game was. 오늘 론도 빌드업이 정말 완벽했다고 생각을 하는데 규민 선수의 오더가 정말 빛을 본 순간이었던 것 같아요. 좀 어떤 마음으로 그렇게 경기를 풀어갔는지 한번 들어보고 싶어요.
일단 그쪽 그 풍차 라인 쪽 서클이 떴을 때 저랑 저희 팀이 개인적으로 많이 연구한 라인이었어요. 그래서 그쪽 서클 떴을 때 어떻게 풀어야 되는지 저희 모두 이해하고 있었고 어떻게 게임해야 되는지 말을 안 해도 팀원들이 다 이해하고 있었기 때문에 좋은 결과가 나왔던 것 같아요.
That windmill spot is the spot that our team was really focused on playing, and because we know each other and we almost connect on a telepathic level, I think we just worked out really well, and I think they just knew what I wanted to play the game out. And you know, I think it's best to give a shout out to the fans in Korea watching at this late hour, right? 오늘 팬분들 늦게까지 이렇게 함께 이렇게 보고 계실 텐데 먼저 한마디 좀 해주세요.
일단 저희 팬분들이 일단 올해 국제전 저희 팀의 성적이 좀 아쉬워서 많이 조금 기대도 안 하셨을 수도 있는데 저희는 충분히 언제든지 잘할 수 있다는 자신감 가지고 있고 앞으로 이틀 차도 지금처럼 꼭 잘 마무리해서 트로피 한국에 가져가는 모습 보여드릴 테니까 끝까지 응원해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
I think our fans were a little bit disappointed from our recent global performances, but you know, we're confident in how we play, so please send us all your love so that we can take the trophy back to Korea. Congratulations, Gyumin, that was wonderful. Best of luck to you for the remaining 2 days. 너무 감사합니다. 축하드립니다. And that is all. 가지 마세요. That is all from us on the stage, but we know everyone here stay for the raffle event, and we're gonna go back to the desk to find out about the last match. Bye.
Great insights from the players here to get everything closed up for the day. Day number 1 of our PGC Grand Final. Whew, this has been soaring. This has been some crazy, crazy games down to the wire at the very last moment as well. And it's really good to hear from Beamy as a fellow Dane. I'm sure you're very, very proud and very pleased, Mr. Event.
Yeah, I'm fond of him. You know, in this situation here where they've been able to really differentiate how they're approaching the game and how they're playing the game in the grand finals, and right, and putting themselves into a fantastic position. And again, for this, if you're able to have 50+ points in a day, it's a huge success for them, right? And they have, I think it's up there. Going into tomorrow, like, I just want to see more of the same what they've been able to do and kind of minimize some of the mistakes. But then again, you are going up against a team like Freaks that has won a game and gotten 3 second places.
This is a problem.
They're going to go back and say, hey guys, how are we going to win 4 games in a day? Because it was so close today with 3 second places.
Kwangdong Freaks at number 1 looking phenomenal, looking amazing. And then you've got T1 as well, looking extremely, extremely terrifying towards top. Let's take a look at the numbers from this previous game, of course, as Virtus Pro does get the win with the 9 kills. Kwangdong Freaks with 11, looking terrifying. An important game with Falcons as well here, Toffees, to be able to get themselves towards that 3rd place and even get the recovery off whilst all the chaos was going up in the north.
At the end of the day, the best thing for the Falcons is that they had a good last game. Like, after the way that today has gone, especially with the fact that I think we were talking in the green room, like Luke has not played a lot. Not Luke. Flood has not played very much in this today at all because he's getting picked off so
Full
early.
squad time, 8 minutes in that game.
Exactly. So I do think at the end of the day, though, the fact that they got some points salvaged up and they can make some plays is going to get them a little bit of a better mental space going into tomorrow, but they're going to need a huge day to catch back up.
Let's take a look at the numbers here then, as Beamy number 1 on the
150
board.
damage
That's
with 4 kills.
That's a little surprising. I wonder if the damage offset will make Nixie's number 1.
So, Salute knocked Roth. Roth was calling to the Rock to get to Snakers. Beamy flushed that. Hey, what is the man of the match? It's going to be Nixie here for this one.
The damage outweighed it in the end.